Ok.
Dose.
Have a nice day.
Grazie.
E poi magari qualcuna da 20.
For this winter truffle, the critical period for it are the summer months. And the truffle starts to form at the end of winter, beginning of spring, and then it grows very slowly over the summer months, and it's growing and swelling. And then it matures when you come into the next winter, and that's when we harvest and eat them. But because it's growing and swelling over those summer months, it needs good levels of soil moisture to be able to do that. And under climate change, and what we see actually in years when it's very warm and very dry, that stops those truffle bodies from growing and swelling. So you don't get production. So under these climate change models, we're going to see a lot less soil moisture, a lot less precipitation, and higher temperatures. We looked at two climate change models. We looked at the most likely one, and then we looked at one which is a nicer scenario. It's less warming and it's less drying. And between the two scenarios, though, we're still looking at a decline in production of between 78 and 100% of the yield of that territory. So it's a massive drop. So if we see this decline in Europe of production, if we want to try and save some level of production, we're not going to be able to recreate that amount that's growing in Europe. France plants about 400,000 truffle trees every single year, and that's enough to keep their production static. And if we start growing in the UK and other fringe countries, there's no way we can put down enough trees and cover enough ground to replace what's unfortunately probably going to be lost in Europe.
Los pelitos que salen.
Prices are for sure going to increase. So as supply declines, prices increase. And we saw this in 2004. We had a very, very dry period in Europe, and black truffle prices reached about £2,000 a kilogram, which at the time was well over double what they're normally worth. And we see in drought years and years when we have very high temperatures, there's less supply and the prices just increase. So that's going to continue to happen. I'm sure they're going to get very, very expensive going forward.